My dear brothers and sisters, have you ever felt lost? Have you ever stood at a crossroads in your life, staring into a fog of uncertainty, and whispered a desperate prayer, "Oh Allah, just show me a sign, send me a message"? Of course, here is expansion on the first keynote, exploring the concept of divine redirection in closed doors in detail. As requested, we have all felt the sting of a closed door. It is a universal human experience. A moment where the air leaves your lungs and the world seems to shrink to the size of that single, slammed, shut opportunity. You prayed for that job, you crafted the perfect application, you aced the interview. You could already picture yourself in that office, feeling the purpose and security it would bring. You invested your heart in that relationship. You saw a future, built dreams with another soul, and you believed with every fiber of your being that it was your destiny, a blessing sent and sanctioned by Allah Himself. You worked tirelessly on that plan. You spent nights sketching it out. You gathered resources. You took the first courageous steps, only to watch it crumble into dust before your eyes. In these moments, the pain is visceral. It is not just an emotional disappointment. It feels like a personal failure, a cosmic rejection. The whisper of the shaitan becomes loudest in this vulnerable state, suggesting that you are not good enough, that your prayers are unheard, that Allah is displeased with you. We cry, we grieve, we question, we ask, why, Allah? I trusted in you. I worked so hard. Why would you deny me this good thing I desired? This is the critical juncture of faith, the point where our limited human perception collides with Allah's infinite, all-encompassing knowledge. We see the door, we see its polished handle, its beautiful frame, the inviting light spilling from underneath it. We judge it solely by its appearance, convinced that behind it lies our happiness, our success, our peace. But Allah sees the entire room. He knows what lies behind that door. He knows that the job, while prestigious, would have corroded your character, strained your family ties, and led you away from your faith. He knows that the relationship, while intoxicating in its early stages, was built on a fragile foundation of incompatibility that would have led to a lifetime of quiet resentment or profound heartbreak. He knows that the plan, while brilliant in your mind, was missing a crucial element you could not have foreseen, and its success would have led to a different, greater failure down the line. This is the essence of divine protection disguised as denial. The closed door is not a punishment, it is a mercy. It is the compassionate hand of a loving Lord pulling His servant back from a cliff they cannot yet see. Imagine a child desperate to touch the beautiful, dancing flame of a candle. The parent, knowing the searing pain that will follow, swiftly moves the child's hand away. The child wails, believing they have been denied a wonderful experience. They cannot comprehend the concept of a burn. They only feel the sting of the no. Are we not, in the grand scheme of Allah's creation, like that child? Our understanding is limited to the immediate, the tangible, the desires of the moment. Allah's wisdom encompasses the past, the present, and the intricate tapestry of the future all at once. The Quran beautifully alludes to this in Surah Al-Baqarah, ****. But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you know not. **2:216. This verse is a profound consolation. It directly acknowledges our emotional reality. We hate the closed door, the rejection, the failure. We viscerally dislike it. Yet the verse simultaneously calls us to a higher level of consciousness, to a trust that transcends our immediate feelings. It asks us to have **yaqeen*, certainty that within our disappointment lies a seed of a goodness we have not yet witnessed. The story of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, is a powerful testament to this. Forced to flee Egypt in fear for his life, he must have felt his world collapsing. The door to his home, his status, his entire life in Egypt was violently shut. He was a fugitive alone in the desert with no clear path forward. In his moment of despair, what did he say? Asterisk, asterisk. My Lord, indeed I am, for whatever good you would send down to me in need. Asterisk, asterisk, 28, 24. He didn't curse his circumstances. He turned to Allah and expressed his need for asterisk, whatever asterisk good Allah would send. And what was the result of that closed door in Egypt? Allah led him to the well of Madian, where he found a new community, a wife, a family, and most importantly, the safe space and time to prepare for his ultimate destiny, to return to Egypt as a prophet and liberate his people. The closed door in Egypt was the necessary, if painful, first step that led him directly to his divine purpose. Had that door remained open, he might have remained a prince in the palace of Pharaoh, never becoming the messenger who would speak to Allah and free a nation. So how do we practically navigate this in our own lives? The first step is to reframe our perception. When a door closes, instead of declaring it a catastrophe, we must consciously, even if our hearts are heavy, affirm, "This is from Allah, and in it is a wisdom I may not yet see." This is not a denial of our pain. It is an act of asterisk tawakkul asterisk, of placing our trust in the divine plan. It is to say, my feelings are valid, but my faith is stronger. The second step is to actively look for the redirection. A closed door forces movement. It makes you turn around and survey the landscape you were previously ignoring. Now is the time for heightened awareness. What new paths have been revealed by this closure? What opportunities are now visible that were once hidden in the shadow of that single all-consuming door? Perhaps the free time after losing a job allows you to finally pursue a certification or a passion project that leads to a more fulfilling career. Perhaps the end of a relationship creates the emotional space for you to work on yourself, to build a stronger relationship with Allah, and to become the person who is truly ready for the righteous partner He has written for you. The pain of the closed door is real, and it is human to sit with that grief for a while. But we must not set up camp in front of it, endlessly mourning what was never meant to be. To do so is to turn our back on the new paths, the open windows, the better doors that Allah is already unlocking for us. The closed door is not the end of your story. It is the plot twist that makes the eventual victory more meaningful, the blessing more profound. It is a direct, personal message from the most wise, the most merciful, saying, "Trust me, my servant. I am saving you from what you desired, to give you what you truly need." Our ultimate success lies not in forcing every door to open, but in having the faith to walk away from the ones Allah has firmly closed, and the courage to walk through the new ones He opens in their place. We've all been there. We wait for the heavens to part, for a lightning bolt of clarity to strike, for a voice to boom from the sky with our instructions, but the message of Allah rarely comes that way. His divine communication is more subtle, more profound, and woven into the very fabric of our existence. This is how Allah sends you a message. In the quiet moments, in the spaces between our structured prayers and our conscious thoughts, there exists a subtler, more intimate form of communication from our Creator. It is a whisper that bypasses the noise of the world and the clamor of our own anxieties, arriving not as a sound in the ear, but as a sudden, compelling knowing in the heart. This is the stirring of the soul, the unexplainable urge to perform an act of goodness, to reach out in kindness, or to step onto a new path. We often dismiss these promptings as random thoughts, as whims of our own imagination, but within the Islamic tradition, this is recognized as asterisk ilam asterisk, a divine inspiration that is a profound and personal message from Allah to the heart of the believer. It is the fulfillment of the promise in the Quran that Allah is closer to us than our own jugular vein, and this proximity is manifested in these gentle, guiding touches upon our inner being. Consider experience itself. You are going about your day, and without any logical precursor, a face flashes in your mind. A relative, a friend from the distant past, someone you haven't thought of in months. even years. The thought is persistent, accompanied by a soft, compelling nudge to contact them. The rational mind might interject, asterisk, I'm busy, it would be awkward. What would I even say? Asterisk, but beneath that, the feeling remains pure and uncomplicated. You finally make the call or send the message, only to discover they were in a moment of profound crisis, of loneliness or despair, and your seemingly random contact was a lifeline that pulled them back from the edge. In that moment, you were not merely a friend making a call. You were a messenger, an instrument of divine mercy. Your heart was the medium through which Allah delivered a message of hope to another of His servants. The inspiration was not for you alone. It was a blessing for which you became the vehicle. Similarly, this stirring can manifest as a sudden inclination towards a specific act of charity. You see a fundraiser for a cause, and while you might scroll past many others, this one arrests your attention. A deep, settled feeling in your chest urges you to give, not out of obligation, but from a place of sincere, prompted generosity. You may not have much to spare, but the feeling is insistent. You follow through, and perhaps you never know the full consequence of that action. But your contribution, however small, combined with others, becomes the means for building a well in a thirsty village, for providing an education to an orphan, for funding medical care that saves a life. The asterisk ilm asterisk was the spark that set this chain of goodness in motion. It was a direct deposit of a good deed in your spiritual account, and an opportunity for you to become a cause of relief for others. This is the operational mechanism of divine distribution. Allah places a specific need in the heart of one of His servants, and in responding, that servant becomes a participant in a grand, unseen network of mercy and provision. This divine inspiration also extends to the realm of personal decisions and pivotal life changes. You might be content in your current situation, but a quiet, persistent idea begins to take root. The idea to learn a new language, to master a craft, to start a small business, to write a book, or to move to a new city. The idea grows not with the frantic energy of an obsession, but with the steady, peaceful certainty of a seed pushing towards the sun. It feels less like a decision you are making and more like a path being revealed to you. This is profoundly different from a fleeting whim. A whim is often exciting, ego-driven, and burns out quickly. Asterisk ilm asterisk, by contrast, carries with it a quality of serenity and rightness, even if the path it suggests is daunting. It aligns with the prophetic teaching that there is a kind of wisdom that resides in believer's heart, and we are encouraged to seek it and heed it. Distinguishing this divine whisper from the voice of our own ego or the whisperings of Shaitan is, of course, a crucial spiritual skill. The ego's voice is usually loud, insistent, and focused on immediate gratification, recognition, or personal gain. The whisper of Shaitan is one of doubt, fear, and negativity, often seeking to lead us into harm or away from good. The sign of asterisk ilm asterisk, however, is its purity. It consistently directs us towards something that is inherently good, asterisk, maraf asterisk, something that increases us in faith, goodness, or benefit either for ourselves or for others. It does not coax us towards sin, arrogance, or the breaking of ties. It is a call to life, to growth, to connection, and to service. The more we purify our hearts through sincere worship, remembrance of Allah, and distancing ourselves from sin, the clearer this channel of communication becomes. A heart clouded by transgression and neglect is like a radio receiver filled with static. It cannot clearly tune into the divine frequency. To ignore these promptings is to potentially leave a divine gift unopened, a divine assignment unfulfilled. Every time we feel that gentle nudge to do good and we act upon it, we strengthen this connection. We are, in essence, telling Allah, I am listening. Send me. And the beautiful promise is that He will respond by increasing our capacity to receive and act upon this guidance. Our entire life can become a dynamic, responsive conversation with Divine, where we are not merely reciting scripts in prayer, but are actively participating in a co-creation of our destiny, guided at every step by these holy promptings. This stirring is the proof that our relationship with Allah is not a distant, transactional one, but a living, intimate, and ongoing dialogue. It is the quiet, undeniable evidence that we are known, we are seen, and we are guided, not just in the grand schemes of our lives, but in the minute, everyday details where His compassion and meticulous care are most profoundly felt. It is a message meant solely for you, a personal token of love from the Lord of the worlds, waiting only for your attentive heart to receive it and your willing soul to act upon it. There is a profound difference between a coincidence and a pattern. A coincidence is a singular, random occurrence, a fleeting intersection of events that holds no deeper meaning. A pattern, however, is a deliberate sequence, a repetition that suggests an underlying design, a message being spelled out with increasing clarity. When it comes to divine communication, Allah often employs this very method of reinforcement. He is the most patient teacher, and when we fail to grasp a lesson the first time, He presents it to us again and again through different mediums until we finally pause and take notice. This is the universe's way of underlining a critical point, of placing a flashing arrow on the path of our life, insisting, "This is important. Pay attention here. Imagine your life as a vast, complex tapestry. From your limited perspective on the ground, you can only see a chaotic jumble of colored threads, a confusing mix of events, encounters and emotions, but Allah, the Master Weaver, sees the tapestry from above, in its magnificent and coherent entirety. The repetitive signs He sends are like a single, distinct colored thread, say, a vibrant gold that begins to appear with surprising frequency throughout the weave. At first, you see one golden thread. You hear a Quranic verse in a sermon that resonates deeply, striking a chord about patience in the face of adversity. You think that was beautiful, and you move on. The next day, you are scrolling through a social media feed, and a post from a trusted scholar inexplicably appears, elaborating on that very same verse, delving into the spiritual fruits of patience. A flicker of recognition occurs. Later that week, you meet a friend for coffee, and, without any prompting, they begin to share their own story of a recent trial, and how they are striving to embody that very same quality of patient perseverance. This is no longer a coincidence. This is a pattern. The gold thread is now unmistakable, woven through the sermon, the online post, and the personal conversation. Allah is using the mouthpiece of the Imam, the pen of the scholar, and the voice of your friend to deliver the same core message directly to your soul. He is not being subtle. He is trying to get your attention because the lesson of sabr patience is not merely a theoretical concept for you to admire. It is a practical, essential tool you will need for a challenge that is already on its horizon, a test for which He is lovingly preparing you. This phenomenon of repetition can manifest in countless ways, each one tailored to the individual. It might be the recurring theme of gratitude. You read a book about the power of shakar, then you hear a lecture about the blessings of health, and later that day, you witness a minor accident that reminds you of your own physical well-being. The message is being echoed from the page, the pulpit, and the street. Be grateful. Acknowledge my blessings. It could be a recurring call to action. The idea of starting a community project comes to mind, and then you overhear a conversation about a similar need in your neighborhood. A few days later, you unexpectedly come across funding opportunities for such initiatives. The signs are converging, pointing you toward a purpose you are being invited to fulfill. The content of these repetitions is as vast as the human experience itself, but their purpose is singular: guidance. They serve as a corrective measure, a gentle course correction for a soul that has begun to drift. If you have been consumed by the pursuit of the material world, the repetitions might center on verses and reminders about the temporariness of this life, dunya, and the permanence of the next, akhira. If you have been struggling with anxiety and a lack of trust, the theme of tawakkul, reliance upon Allah might begin to appear everywhere you look, in the stories you hear, and the verses you recite, assuring you that your provision is guaranteed and that with every difficulty comes ease. To ignore these patterns is to risk spiritual deafness. It is to have a teacher who is patiently repeating the lesson while the student stubbornly plugs their ears, insisting on facing a trial unprepared. The wise believer, therefore, cultivates a state of vigilant awareness. They move through the world with a heart that is open and eyes that are ready to see. After each prayer, they carry the remembrance of Allah into their daily affairs, and this state of mindfulness makes them more receptive to the signs that are being placed in their path. They understand that the entire universe operates by the command of Allah, and therefore nothing that reaches them, no word, no sight, no encounter, is truly random or devoid of potential meaning. When you identify a pattern, the appropriate response is not passive observation, but active engagement. It is a call to reflection, tafakkur, and immediate action. If the theme is patience, you consciously begin to work on your reactions to minor irritations. You make for increased fortitude, and you study the lives of the prophets to see how they embodied this virtue. If the theme is charity, you actively seek out opportunities to give, in ways both financial and personal. You are, in effect, responding to the divine nudge, signaling back to your Creator, I have received your message. I am now working on it. This beautiful interactive dynamic transforms our relationship with the world from one of chance to one of purpose. The newspaper article, the stranger's comment, the recurring dream, they all become potential verses in the personal Quran of our lives, a continuous revelation tailored to our specific journey. The repetitions are Allah's way of making His general guidance in the Quran and Sunnah specific, personal, and urgently applicable to our unique circumstances. He is not a distant God who set the world in motion and stepped away. He is the ever-present, the all-knowing, who speaks to each of His servants in a language they can understand, using the ink of daily events and the parchment of their own lives to write a personal letter of guidance, one repeated sign at a time. Our task is simply to learn how to read it.